I am so super stoked about our guest today. It is my dear friend, Melisa Hartsell, who is first and foremost a follower of Christ. She's a mama of three sons and two grandsons and living in Tampa, Florida. She is also the president and co founder of the Evin B Hartsell Foundation and a personal coach. She works with clients going through trauma and grief, and most of them being parents who have lost a child and parents who are raising disabled children. Welcome, Melisa. Thank you so much for being here.
So stoked to be here. Very happy.
Yeah. Woo woo. Here we go. So I'm going to dive in right from the beginning, and I love to hear where everything started for you. What was growing up like for you?
Oh goodness, that's like a loaded question, right? Like let me sift through all of it really quick in my brain. And I actually had a really good childhood. I had a very stable family. I had a mom and dad. My mom stayed home, raised, with the children,
Mhm.
with us kids. I was the baby. I had two older brothers. And my dad was out working shift work. That's what he did. He worked a blue collar job making ceiling tiles and it was a very hard job. I have a lot of respect for him now. I didn't appreciate it so much then when I was young, but now I really appreciate what he did for the family. And he always was so proud that he said, I didn't give you a lot of material blessings or material things, but I gave you God, which we were very God-centered family. And he gave us a mom. He said, I gave you a mom who could stay home with you and raise you and be there for you when you came home from school and just was there. And she was a good mom. She was a really, really good mom. So it was a good childhood. I kind of grew up a little fast. My mom was sick a lot, so I was, in the home doing a lot of the home stuff at 12, making dinners for the whole family, just kind of because she was in bed a lot and she would just tell me from the bed how to cook things. So
Wow.
I would take
Yeah.
instructions from her and I would make a full meal for our family at the age of 12. So I was kind of growing up a little fast and taking on some responsibility.
Yeah.
That was a good thing. I mean, I think it really prepared me for life. I did get married super young at the age of 16.
See, I love it when I learn new things as you say that.
Yeah, like I know, and a lot of people do that. Like, what? He was a Marine and he was 5 years older than I was, but we got married and moved away. So I left my comfort of support and family and home. And we went to Virginia first for a couple of months, and then we moved across the country to Hawaii. So we ended up living in Hawaii in the early 80s, early to mid 80s, and for 3 years. And I was there at the age of 17, mostly on the island by myself because
Mhm.
he was gone with the Marine Corps. He was always gone. He would be gone for 6 months and then home for 6 months and then gone on deployments. So there was a lot of growing up that I was by myself in a strange place with really no support and kind of just at 17. I mean, hello.
Yeah.
It's a
Wow.
crazy time for any 17-year-old, but so that's kind of how things started out for me.
I was already getting emotional just listening to the beginning thing. How do you think that the way that you were raised and even getting married, while young, and when you're talking about that, I have a 17-year-old daughter right now who's like, "Mom, let me," she's like, "I'm gonna be an adult soon," and she's excited at the same time, panicked.
Yeah.
So I couldn't possibly imagine, her in that position. I could let alone think back to myself then. But how do you think that that equipped you, like you said, for the way that you then continued after that and having your family?
Well, it threw me out into an ocean with no life preserver.
Yeah,
In
yeah.
many ways. I was so shy growing up. I mean, I was painfully shy. Like I was really sick from birth until about 8. I almost died a couple times and I had two major surgeries in my kidneys. And so I was really, really sick a lot, very young, but I was also so painfully shy. And so I remember the first place we moved to in Virginia, he had a school that he was finishing when we first got married. And I remember moving there and we were in our little apartment and he told me, he said, okay, I need you to call and get our electric, turned on. I need you to get the phones turned on, all of that. And that panicked me. Like, what? Like, could you write me a script? Like, what am I supposed to say? I got to talk to these people. Like I was just panicked, right?
Yeah.
And then we moved to Hawaii, and I think the first 6 months, I literally sat in our apartment, like our little
Mm,
condo, and I was so scared to go out. I thought, I can't, like, what am I going to do? I got to go grocery shopping, and I was thrown into this world where I was around a lot of adults. So I was 16, and everyone around me had already been to college. They had already had all these experiences. And so early on, I learned to put on mask, honestly,
mm,
to protect myself. I
mm,
know, I'm big time, I know what I'm doing, but inside I was just terrified. But what it did for me back then was it also like it made me like come out of my shell. It made me like if I'm going to be in this world and I'm going to function, I have I have to figure this out. I have to figure out. So then going through those experiences early on in my life and realizing, okay, sometimes I'm going to be by myself and I gotta and
mm.
I've gotta do what I have to do. Then it really did equip me. So when I started having children, and then, later some of the things that happened with my children, which
Yeah,
I'm sure we'll get into, but it did create this strength and this
yeah.
resilience in me. I don't know if I would have had that
Mm,
because of the things that I went through and the things that early on, being so young, being thrown into this adult world, um, and having to deal with adult things. I thought I was an adult. Like your daughter, you said at 17, I thought I was an adult. Oh,
yeah,
yeah, I got this. I thought I was so
yeah,
mature, and I was not. I was so scared. And as my kids grew up and they reached that age of 16, I was like, there's no way. I thought in my head,
right?
time one of my kids would turn at 16, I thought, there's no way. I would they're not equipped to be married. They could not even handle that.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think it did equip me to be more strong, more resilient, more determined, um, and kind of go for things that I wanted and not sit back and wait for someone else to give it to me or do it for me. Because
right,
yeah.
right. You know what's interesting to me when you talk about being painfully shy, which I think would surprise people about you, doesn't seem to resonate with who you are today. Also, me, I was the same way. Quiet, quiet, quiet.
Really.
And I find that about a lot of the women that I talked to too, that where they are now, that was where they were back then, just super, super quiet, shy, not out there. It's just an interesting random thing about resilience that I think, like you mentioned, that we catch. I think God knows. I mean, I know he knows, but I find it interesting sometimes when we look back, we maybe didn't realize the preparation that was putting in.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, the hindsight's 2020, right? Because now
yeah,
I look back through all of the twists and turns and I'm like, oh,
yeah,
I was in all of it. And I was raised, with God as a center. I didn't really feel God as my center for a long, long time.
sure.
It didn't resonate with me. God wasn't there
Right,
with me. He was out here, ethereal,
right,
not in here, right?
right.
Yeah.
Talk to me, your family when you were at home raising your kids and how that was.
Uh, wow. It's funny because I look back on those years, now I look back, I don't know about you, but I look back because they're grown now. My kids are grown.
Yeah.
But I look back on those years and I think, how did I do it? Like literally, how did I do it? I had three boys and all 3 years apart, called them duty station babies. And you
Right?
were in the army, right? You were in the
Yeah,
military.
yeah, I
Right.
feel it, yeah.
So yeah, every duty station, you know, husband comes back from deployment and
Yeah,
I don't know how many women got pregnant. It
right.
was just a thing. It was a thing. Um, so it was, man, it was sometimes controlled chaos, sometimes just
Yeah.
chaos. I look back on those years and I feel like the word that I use a lot is survival.
Mhm.
It was every day was survival because I had three sons. My oldest son was born in Hawaii right before we left. And then our next duty station was Parris Island, which is boot camp, Beaufort, North Carolina. Beaufort, no, South Carolina, Beaufort, South Carolina. Then my middle son Evan was born there, and he was born with a neuromuscular disease. And then our third child was born in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, which was our last duty station with the Marine Corps. So, not last duty station, but anyway, so I had three sons, 3 years apart. At one point, all three under the age of 6, and then one who never walked. He had a neuromuscular disease his whole life,
Yeah.
never walked. So it was like just feed them,
Yeah.
just clothe them, and we're
Yeah.
we're good. Like if that's
Yeah.
if that's what happened in a day, like win, huge win.
100%. 100%. And I had two, and that was my limit to be able to function even at that and show up a little bit. So, yeah, yeah, and
Yeah, so
3
I was
and then
overwhelmed a lot. I mean, I'm sorry, I
for
didn't mean to
sure.
talk over you, but I was,
No,
I mean, because a lot of people thought I was crazy for having a third child. They thought I was
that's
insane.
interesting. Yeah.
Like you have a child who has a disability, and
Yeah.
we didn't know where it came from. It was neither in either side of our family.
So,
So it
yeah,
totally was a blind side. And the whole pregnancy was normal, was healthy. So didn't know until he was born that there's something's not right. We don't know
yeah,
what's going on. But so we were blindsided, and I don't know if it was me grieving like his lack of development. He never walked, he never crawled, he never. I thought it could have been part of that I was grieving as a mom, going, I grieved all these things that he would be, and now what is he going to be? I don't have no idea what his future
yeah.
is going to hold because they told me at the time, well, he'll probably never live past the age of 12.
Ugh,
So,
I
um,
can't imagine how you even process all of
I
that.
think, I think back then it was like I'm putting it over here in
Mm,
a bucket and I can't even think
sure.
about it. Like I got
Yeah.
the
You don't
news,
have time.
right? Let's put it in the bucket because I can't deal with that. I'm just getting through the day of feeding the kids
Yeah,
and bathing the kids and clothing making sure that they're
yeah,
taken care of. So, and I had a husband that was in and out all the time. So that would, the military. So,
yeah,
he was gone in and out all the time. So it was a lot of me in the house handling things.
yeah. Were you like your mom at home with the kids then without working outside of the home?
Right. I didn't.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean, I don't know how you could, but anyway,
well,
but
I got my real estate license. I wanted to so badly,
yeah,
because there was a part of me that wanted my something for myself,
for sure.
but I had this challenge because I grew up in a very traditional home.
Mm,
And for me to put my kids in daycare was like, I don't want anyone else raising my children. That was just how I
mhm.
felt. And I tried
Yeah,
it. There was a couple times that I tried. I'm like, I can't do it. I just cannot. I can't do it. And so yeah, I was more of a traditional mom. I got my real estate license. So when they got a little bit older, I would work in real estate when they were at school. But when they were done with school at 3 o'clock or whenever, I was home. I would,
yeah.
I was home with them. So it was more of a traditional role for me.
But then you were able to do that when they went to school.
Yeah.
Um, oh, because when we first met, like not in person, but first met, you were still in real estate. I think you were near the end of working with that. And all of your kids, no doubt, are amazing. But let's talk about Evan. Talk
Yeah.
to me about Evan and where that has put you on your trajectory now.
Oh my goodness. Sometimes it's hard to talk about him. All three of my sons, they're also different, and they all have their, just like yours. They all have your strengths,
Yeah,
weaknesses. They all have their,
right.
you know,
Oh man.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Evan was a bright, I mean, brilliant, brilliant young man. Physically, he had no ability really to take care of himself, but he was brilliant and he was a strategizer and he had this wit, this
Mhm.
humor, it's a sarcastic wit, but funny, but
Yeah.
so fast. I mean, I think he got that from my brother. I had my middle brother passed away from cancer 20 almost 20 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And my brother was like that. My brother could take anything and make it funny. He just
What a
had this
gift.
he just had this
What a
gift of turning
yeah.
anything into funny. And I don't think I've ever met a human being as funny as my brother. Just,
Mm.
but Evan had that ability. And I think that's what really helped him through his life because he struggled so much. He never walked. He had a lot of struggles with contractures. You can see this is a picture of Evan in the back. So he has contractures in his neck, he had contractures in his arms, he had contractures in his
Mhm.
hips, everywhere. There he is always in pain constantly.
Yeah.
That we were always at the doctors or dealing with wheelchair stuff or nurses or whatever, insurance companies, you name it.
Gross.
So many battles that we fought together
Yeah.
that I think that's what carried him through his life. I think that what he had this resilience about him and this determination about him to not give up in life when there was many times that he wanted
Mm,
to. He talked about suicide a lot. He had a
mm.
lot of ups and downs, a lot of depression, um, uh, a lot of call it envy. There was so much of his life when starting in middle school, when he really started, he was great. He was so happy and cheerful until he got to middle school. And then all of his friends kind of started, they were all on the same path. And then in
Yeah.
middle school, kids start to grow up and they kind of start to become a little more independent and they're doing their own thing, and
Mhm.
he felt left behind.
Sure.
And he had then this envy of, they're having girlfriends and they're going out and doing things, and I'm stuck at home and I can't. So it was this almost this envy that he really couldn't even be around them because he was really struggling uh,
Yeah.
with that anger that he had that was kind of building inside of him, this anger and depression at the same time. So I think, it got him through life. I mean, his brothers had a great relationship. He lived at home his whole life until he was
Mm.
28 and a half is when he passed away in 2018 is when he passed. And he had finished his book, which I've got back on the shelf, Able in a Disabled World. That's his book that he wrote.
I love
And
we're
he
gonna get
finished,
links for
he
that.
wrote this just 2 weeks before he passed away.
Really?
Yeah, he finished the
Ugh.
manuscript. It took him 3 years to write it, but it's all about his life. It really is about his journey through his disability, all of it. I mean, so many people who have read this book, they are like, I really can't believe the lessons that I learned. I'm not disabled, but
Right.
man, the lessons that I have learned through Evan. And everyone takes something different away, but
Right.
it feels like you're on his shoulder, on his wheelchair, really journey with you. That's the way he writes. It's just like you're experiencing it all with him. He was an amazing young man, and that's why the foundation, we started a whole foundation in his name. And I don't know how much you want me to go. I could just talk for an hour by
Yeah.
myself.
Bring it on. I was curious. I love that. That's what I was curious about with the siblings too, as you said. And middle school, even as with my teen daughters and stuff, and the changes in relationships and going different ways and the struggles they have as well, and then just magnify that. And then the same thing with having your siblings, and if they were all pretty close, and yet at the same time, do they give a little razzing to all of each other
Oh
as
yeah, definitely.
around, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They did. I mean, they were typical boys, and the way
Yeah,
we raised Evan was just like our other two boys. With the
yeah,
expectations were the same. Whatever
yeah,
we did, we adapted. It didn't
yeah,
matter what it was. If we're going to go to the beach, we're adapting. I don't know what we're gonna go camping. We went hiking. We went camping. We
yeah,
did everything with him because we just adapted. It was just this,
yeah.
and his brothers. That's the way they looked at him. I mean, they would hit him, and he'd run over to him in the chair. He'd run into them with his wheelchair and run over their feet. And it was we play
Yes,
soccer. He'd play
yeah,
soccer with them. So it was just like we treated him just like the other boys.
yeah,
They struggled. Our youngest one handled it differently than our oldest one did.
sure,
Because, for them, here they are, our children. They want attention too, and
yeah,
logically they're going, well, understand that mom has to do this for Evan because he can't do it for himself. He literally can
right,
do nothing for himself physically, for 28 and a half years. So they understood that, but emotionally, they were like,
yeah,
oh, I want time with my mom.
yeah,
It was
ooh,
always this challenge for me to try to meet everybody's need where they were, and always feeling like at the end of the day I'm not doing enough, like I'm a failure because I haven't done. Yeah, sorry.
no, please don't be sorry, and
Yeah.
thank you for being so open and allowing us to really dive into this. How, if any way, were you able to take care of yourself? during that time? I
Um,
mean, was there much of that being able to
you know what? I wasn't aware of
yeah,
taking care of myself. I didn't have the awareness then that I have now.
yeah,
Um, the only thing that I did for myself that I started at the age of 16, and my brother he took me to the gym at 16. He said,
yeah.
"Hey, come," one who passed away. He and I were really close. And he took me to the gym and said, "I'm going to teach you how to work out," and I fell in love with it. Like the weights in my hands, just the music, I was like the smell
Yes.
was like, I love this. Either you love it or you don't.
Right.
It's your thing or it's not. But for me, it became
Yeah.
my thing. And so I did throughout the years. That was the one thing that I was like,
Mhm,
I've got to go to the gym. I don't care what, if I get up at 4 a.m. in the morning, I have to
mhm.
go to the gym. And I didn't understand then that that was a part of moving energy inside me, moving and processing stuff that maybe I wasn't even aware of,
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
a beautiful place to be able to do that, isn't it? Oh,
Yeah. And now I look back on it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I think that was my sanity.
right.
Because I wasn't aware emotionally of taking care of myself. I wasn't, I didn't even know how to deal with the feelings that I had inside. And I didn't know how to
Oh,
ask for help. Um, I didn't even know what I needed. And so I ended up, when the kids were really young, and I've talked about this in Evan's book, is that I ended up in a closet crying a lot or screaming in a pillow because I just was so like overwhelmed and so tired. And at the end of the day, like, I don't
yeah.
even know if I can do this another day. I can't do it anymore. And I would go in a closet so that they wouldn't see me. And I would scream or I would cry or I would just like let it out. And I look back now and I'm like, God, what a disservice to them. It was such a disservice to them because I didn't allow them to let them
Mhm.
see mom in a space that they could help me. It was like I was like, I don't want them to see me vulnerable. I'm strong and I got this mask on and I got it, and I didn't. Everybody in the world or that I world, everyone external to our family thought, oh, she's got it. She doesn't need help. And I was drowning.
Mhm.
I was drowning. I just didn't
Yeah.
know how to ask for help, you know. And so my kids now, and I've told them, I'm so sorry that I didn't allow you to help because it wouldn't have made you think mom was weak. It would have just said, hey, mom, we got to help too. We're all part of this little family, and we can help each other. So it really was a disservice to them and myself because I took a lot
Yeah.
on that I probably shouldn't have. And
There
that's why
was
I think that's what I do now, why I do what I
yeah,
do, is because I want to help other parents. I'm like,
yeah.
the mom is like the center, and if she's not taken care of and she doesn't understand that self-care is important, and sometimes it's little things, it all trickles down and you lose your patience with your children or you lash out or because you have this threat bucket, which we know about.
Yeah.
The threat bucket
It's,
overflows.
like, really overflowing.
Doesn't
Yeah,
even overflow, it just explodes and you're just
right.
exploding on everybody. You're projecting onto everyone all of your
Yeah.
anger and your frustration and your overwhelm, and all of that just is like, and your kids are like, wait, what, mom, we were good, now all of a sudden you're angry. What is that about?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Oh my gosh, that was just so super, super powerful, and I know I took us on a tangent, but I'm so glad
All over the place,
you
girl.
shared all that. My mind wants to go 100 miles an hour all of the time on all of the things. I have not read his is it out in audiobook yet, by the way?
You know what?
Not
No,
to be so nosy, but that's how I get all my books now, and I
I
remember
do
how
too. I do too. Yeah, you know what? My youngest son, Nate, he just finished the audio version. We have been trying to get this out for so long. So our publisher is creating, it'll be on
yeah,
Amazon. So our publisher is packaging it all together and editing, doing what he has to do. to get it ready. But yes, it will be out on
Oh, that's so
audio.
exciting.
So I love that it's on audio because it's even for me to listen,
I
it's
was just gonna say, ooh, and to
it,
have his brother read it. My
yeah,
heart is like, oof, yeah.
which is really cool because Alex, my oldest brother, did the foreword for the book. And then Nathan read the book. He did the audio version of it, and so I love that it's an audio. I hate it because when you get the book, we just filled it full of pictures,
That is, yeah. Oh my gosh,
which
I love it.
I love, and you miss that part. But the audio version
Yeah.
is a very emotional for me too because I'm listening to it. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm crying.
Going back to all of it, no doubt.
Yeah.
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 Wow. I love that. So that's exciting that it's coming out in audiobook too,
I
but
know, I'm really, yeah, and I'm really excited because our we can get into the foundation stuff later, but
yeah,
our curriculum that's being offered at Notre Dame, a lot of the kids now will be able to, hopefully this next semester will be able to download the book and listen to it instead of,
that's
for them,
nice.
kids. And I too. I mean, I think I have 5 books going at one time usually.
Yeah. Talk to me about what the foundation does and what all of these things that you've been doing, like the bill or the law and the curriculum. Talk to me about all of that. However
Oh
you
my
want to
gosh.
spill it out,
Yeah, so
what you
Evan
guys
Evan
do.
passed away in April of 2018.
Oh,
I had my real estate company at the time that he passed. By the end of 2019, I was grieving, so I was just in a really bad place. And so I decided in 2019 to walk away from my real estate company. And it was 2019, and then of course 2020 comes along, everything shuts
yeah.
down, which in Florida we didn't really have COVID.
COVID didn't really happen in
We had
Florida.
6 weeks
Yeah.
of COVID. That was
Yeah.
that was our experience. So,
Yeah.
for the read, there was like the rest of it was like a vacation. I'm like, what? This is awesome. I get to stay home. I'm introvert. I get to stay home. This is cool. I know it's so bad to say. Um, so yeah, so then, I think by 2020, we had finally found a publisher. We had been looking for a publisher because we found Evan's transcript. He had
So
it.
you found it afterward? Sorry, I don't mean
We
to
knew that
interrupt.
we knew that we knew he was working on it. He
I
had been
did
working on
so.
his book for
Okay.
3 years. His brother helped him start it, his oldest
Oh,
brother
that's so
kind of
cool.
helped him start writing it in the beginning. And then the older brother got married, he got a life, started doing his own thing. So
Yeah,
then we found Evan a ghostwriter that kind of helped because he couldn't really write. So this ghostwriter
sure.
package everything for him. So we found a publisher. It took us about 9 months to find the publisher. And during that time that we were kind of going through that whole process of publishing, I had this idea that wouldn't it be amazing if like we could just start this foundation and then whatever books are sold, the money would go back to help somebody else. Because so it would be like a circle of giving.
Yeah,
We wouldn't take any money. We don't take any money from the foundation. It is literally a work. I call it a work of heart. Uh,
yeah,
it's all love. And so we started the foundation. And then it wasn't until 2021 that we could have a book launch. I really wanted to have a book launch for Evan's book, and that was in 2021. And then it has grown organically. And then we found in his room when I started kind of finally going through his room, we had the book published. We were a lot of sales for the book. Then I found was going through his bookshelf, and I found this folder, and he had talked about this curriculum. He was at St. Leo University, right? He was working on his master's, got his master's, but he kept telling me when he was going to St. Leo, Mom, there needs to be a course for, students to take that really shares with them and shows them what it's like to be disabled. I really want someone to
yeah,
know what it's like to walk in or roll in my shoes or roll in my wheelchair or.
yeah.
Um, so he had this outline of the curriculum, and I found that.
Mhm.
And so one of our board members, who's also our publisher, he just has this amazing heart. I asked him, I said, "Hey, could you finish this?" he's an adjunct. He's also an adjunct professor. Had been one for
Oh,
like
wow.
15 years. And I was like, hey, could you put this together? Because this was Evan's wish. He had a vision, and he said, yes, I can do that. So he put the curriculum together. We use the book as a book that goes with the curriculum. So the curriculum is based on the book.
Oh,
So the
wow.
students, then when the students are studying the curriculum and taking the course, they're reading the book as part of the curriculum. So then we went to Notre Dame. I went to St. Leo first, which is where Evan went to school.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, that sounds like a really good idea. But they kind of, I don't think they didn't really understand it, weren't really behind it. So went to Notre Dame. We had a connection with Notre Dame. Went to Notre Dame and they saw the value in it. They said, "Yep, let's make it a 3 credit course." I mean, it's a full-on 3 credit course. Started out with the first semester. We just finished the fourth semester at Notre Dame.
Wow. That is so
And
amazing.
I love it because the feedback from the students is amazing because we're talking about students who are pre-med, nursing,
Oh,
psychology degrees, psychiatry, that those
that
three,
is, yeah.
they are taking this course and the feedback is like, man, you know what? It's going to help me advocate for my patients more. Now
Yeah.
I have a better understanding because 1 in 5 Americans has a disability. 1 in 5.
Wow.
That's huge,
I
right?
did not know that either. Mm.
Right. But now, St. Leo University, we got the momentum started at Notre Dame. Then St. Leo University started, they just finished their first semester this past year. So I know we're really excited. Now it's at Evans alma mater. And so now it's there.
Yeah.
But then we took that curriculum and what else happened?
I
Then
I love that you got it done and then brought it back. And I'm like, ha.
I know. So, of course, we had the book, then we have the curriculum, and I want this to be nationwide. I really want this course to be in every
Yeah.
university. That's my goal, is to push this to every university, and then global. We're going to take it global. But so then after that, we got, that was moving and grooving, and everything was looking good. And then my oldest son said, "Hey, Mom, I really want to honor my brother." And I was like, okay, well, what do you want to do? And he said, well, and this is a suggestion from his wife, because he's a great storyteller. My oldest son, it's a great
Mm.
storyteller. He has 2 sons. And he said, I really want to write some children's books, that Evan is the main character of the book.
Yeah.
So now he created, the first book we did was Evan's World at the Zoo. So Evan is the main character. And the illustrator, it took us 2 years to find the illustrator. And I will show you why. Like the illustrations are
I love it.
they're just beautiful. I mean, they're absolutely, beautiful.
Yeah. Oh
So
my gosh.
our second book coming out is
Wow.
Evan's World at the amusement park. That's getting ready
Ooh,
to come back.
fabulous.
Actually, I'm waiting on the shipment now. And then we have a third book, Evan Gets a Pool. And every single he has like 15 in his head. He's so creative. He was a Marine too. He's so creative.
Oh, I love it.
So, but
It's like a
every book is Evan, who's the main character. It's
Mm.
it's targeting ages 4 to 8. We look at what Evan can do, not what
Yeah.
he can't do. And so we're hoping that that transfers over to children, or the parents who are reading these books to these children, the children who are reading it going, you know what, I'm small, but there's things that I can do.
Yeah.
Because in every book, Evan is like these are the things that he can do. Like in this book, he goes to the amusement park, but he can't ride the rides. He realizes, I can't ride the rides. And he finds another little boy who's not tall enough to ride the rides, which a lot of our kids deal with. They're not tall enough
Right.
yet. So then they go
Yeah.
off on their own adventure, and they go to the toy store, and they use their imagination, and then they go to the candy shop, and they have their own experience at the amusement park. So it's what can I do, not what I can't,
Yeah.
in every story. Or conquering fear. He gets a pool, and he's afraid to go in the water. And so,
Right.
and a lot of kids have that fear when they're little. So we have that
Oh,
series that's and then last year I got this idea because I found out there was a law already on the books in Florida, about disability education in our school system. But the law, it's all about wording in the law.
mm,
And it said that the teachers may, like, they didn't have to, it wasn't required, but they could teach it or they could choose not to teach about disability history and awareness education. So we went back this year. We presented legislation. We found a sponsor on the Senate side. We have a senator, and then we had a House of Representative sponsor on both sides. I learned a lot about legislation,
I was say, yeah.
how a bill becomes a law. I didn't listen in civics class in government.
Right.
I learned a lot. So, anyways, we went through that whole process, and then we got the law passed. It was like 6 to 8 weeks of up and back forth to Tallahassee, testifying in front of the House and also the Senate. Got it passed all the way through unanimously. I mean, bipartisan support. Both Democrats
Wow.
and Republicans supported this completely. It was beautiful.
Love it.
So now the law was signed by Governor DeSantis. We had a private signing in his office in May. It was really cool because it was actually passed on April 28th. The final law in the Senate was passed on April 28th, was actually the 7-year anniversary of Evan's passing. That was his.
Wow.
So on the seventh anniversary, that was so, man,
Yeah. I'm
that was
feeling that all
over,
the way over here.
that was overwhelming to sit and to experience that. And it's like God answered a prayer going, I'm going to give you something else on that day.
Yeah.
That it's not just about him passing away, but it's about
Yeah.
a new law that's going to impact children. So now the law, we're now working with the Department of Education. I had a meeting with them yesterday because we developed the curriculum. We
I
took the
was wondering, yeah.
university, we took the university curriculum and we created a K through 12 curriculum for the kids here in Florida. So it'll be required to be taught now through to all the kids every year, K through, and then we have over 4,000 schools here. So yeah, that's happening now. It'll be taught in October. And
That's
we want to
huge.
go to other states. Our whole goal is to let's have it work in Florida, and now let's take it to other states and let's make
Yeah.
this nationwide requirement that all of our schools talk about disability history and awareness, and give education and make this more of a normalize
Right.
because a lot of adults don't know how to interact with someone who has
Yeah.
a disability,
Right.
you know.
What
Let's
a
teach them
vision.
let's teach them from young age, from kindergarten
Yeah.
on up. This is all about what's going on. And maybe they look different, but they want the same thing you want. They have the same desires, the same dreams you have. They just look different. That's it.
Mm,
They act different, but we all have value. And I think that's what Evan really wanted us to know, want
it's,
everyone to know about him. With so many people looked at him and they just saw the wheelchair, they saw the deformities, they didn't see the value that was him. So that's a foundation. There's so much going on. There's so much more I could talk about. It's a lot and it's just kind of organically grown.
yeah.
And I'm like, thank you, God.
That,
Because he's been in all,
that
his hand's
is,
been in all of it. It really has.
yeah, for sure. I mean, said on the seventh anniversary. I mean, 7 years is a lot, but at the same time, I mean, wow. And the impact that he continues to share through all of you guys' efforts and together as a family as well.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of
Woo.
overwhelming sometimes. It's, after the
Yeah.
last day of the Senate hearing when it was passed on that April 28th, one of the senators came up to me after, and he was like, "Do you realize the impact? Do you realize what we just did?" And I was like, "No, I don't think I don't think I have yet." He said, "You will." He said, "This is huge." He said, "This is
Yeah.
really huge. This is, our whole school system is going to be impacted, our children for generations because this is being taught in our schools." And it humbles me because I'm so
Yeah.
grateful. I'm just really grateful and it's just because of Evan's life and his legacy.
Yeah.
It's really his legacy. I'm just the caretaker,
Yeah. Ooh. Ooh. Big to th talk about a vision.
right? I can't think about it like raising my
Not
children when
that
they were little. I cannot think about that. It's just like
just next step.
just the next
Next
step. What are we doing
step.
next? What are we doing next?
Yeah.
Because yeah, it's
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Um, I'm probably gonna come back to that, but Talk to me just a little bit about the coaching that you do and the clients that you are working with. Do you think that those come mostly through the work that you're doing with this foundation and that you come into contact?
It really does because I don't market. It's just about who I know and who they know, and selective about who I work with, only because
Yeah.
not everyone is ready to do the work,
Mhm. Mhm.
and I would never work with a parent who just lost a child.
Mm.
They're not ready. They're in shock. I mean, I didn't even start
Sure.
grieving until a year in. I
Mm.
was in shock for a year. And I didn't want therapy. I didn't want to go to therapy.
Mm.
I didn't want to talk to anybody. I didn't want to go to a group there. I don't want to hear anybody else's story. Like I don't want to hear about you talk about your child. I just don't.
Sure.
I'm trying to grasp what happened. And so it's really elective because I don't work with just anyone. They have to be ready to do the work. And because I can tell them all day long. And I know you've done some coaching yourself and you can tell them all day long what they need to do, but if
Yeah.
they're not ready to do it, they're not in a place where they're ready to put the work in, then yeah, usually it's just word of mouth.
If we've got someone watching or listening to this who is grieving, maybe at any stage, the loss of a child, which me even saying that out loud is hard to even think about. Is there anything, like any couple little tips or thoughts that you would give to them or any life preserver? I know that's a very vast, vague stance, but that maybe helped you in your place, even if it's right after, just to, like, hang tough for a little, not like being tough, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hang
Yeah.
in day to day, you know?
Well, I can tell you a story.
Yeah, please do, please do.
Um, that man, and I'm gonna probably get emotional because when you've lost someone, and I don't care who it is. I mean, I lost my mom to Alzheimer's just a couple of years ago. That was tough.
Yeah,
And so I've had so many different types of grief. I've had my child and I've had a brother who I was so close to, saw
yeah,
him suffer from cancer, and my mom just waste away from Alzheimer's. It is a long goodbye. It's a horrible goodbye. Then my child, they were all so different in, griefs, but the loss of my child far outweighed. That was just devastating. And I was always so white knuckling it through life.
mm,
When I was saying I always had that mask of strength, always strong.
yeah,
Weakness to me was a four-letter word. It really
mm,
was. It was a horrible, like, don't tell me I'm weak. That was like the worst thing you could ever say to me. I'm
yeah,
strong. I got this. And, after you lose a child or after you lose anyone, everyone's there, like as soon as it happens. But then when you really need everybody, it's quiet and everybody leaves and they all go back to their lives. And then you're stuck in the silence and you're stuck in the day to day of the reality starting to hit you. And I didn't really get into therapy and probably until almost 2 years, maybe a year and a half after.
mhm,
And I remember sitting in the therapist office, and I had some bad therapists as well. They were horrible. I mean, they had three letters after their name, but I was like, you shouldn't be doing this. You're awful.
oh, no.
But I was sitting in her office and I remember telling her, God, why can't I just get on with my life? I just get beyond this and just how long is this going to take to grieve? Like,
Mm,
I got to get on with my life. And she looked at me and she was like, you lost a child. Like you just lost your child that I mean, you spent every day with 28 and a half years he lived with me. He was my identity in so many
mm,
ways. We struggled together, we laughed together, we went through everything together. I mean, I lost myself in him a lot. I was just
sure.
all of our battles were it was he and I, because the other two sons had left, they had gone, they left home, they had their lives. His dad was gone in the Marine Corps a lot still, so he was off, gone. So really it was Evan and I in the house all the time,
Just yeah.
all the time. And she just said, God, just Give yourself some grace. It is not just let yourself grieve, let yourself be sad, let yourself process it. Don't shove it down because I was so used to shoving everything down and just going, oh, no, no, no. That's coming up. No, we're not gonna deal with that. No, no, no. That doesn't exist. That's not, you know what? No, no, no. You don't have time for that. I was so used to doing that for my whole life that I didn't know to feel it. It was uncomfortable. And I just thought, no, no, no. Okay, we got to get beyond this. We're gonna white knuckle this too. And that was something I couldn't do. I couldn't white knuckle it. I had to really feel it, give myself grace, let me take as long as I needed to. And I mean, it's 7 years. And I know parents, 10 years. It takes, on the average, from my experience, 10 years for parents
Mm,
to actually process that their child
mm,
has passed, to really feel like, okay, they're gone,
mm,
and they're still there. There's nothing you can say to someone, a mom or parent who's lost a child, mom and dad, there's nothing you can say. Nothing gonna makes it better. Nothing, or even talking about them or not talking, nothing makes it better. I mean, I wake up every day knowing my child's gone. I miss him every day. This helps the foundation, and some things it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to work in the foundation
mm,
because of how I feel inside. And then other days it's healing. And I never say you ever heal because you don't ever heal from losing your child. Just is give yourself grace and give yourself some space and just, allow yourself to feel what you need to feel and don't let anybody tell you that you should be here or you should be there or why are you still grieving or you have two other children, why aren't you happy that you have two other children? I'm like, I don't know. Let me take one of your kids away and you tell me, let me just you have another child, oh, I lost a dog. I'm like, really? Well, you're going to go down to the pound probably in 2 months and you're going to buy another dog to replace that dog. So, I mean, come on. Some things that people say are very insensitive, but they don't know that. I have to I have to extend grace to them too, because they're not really comfortable with talking about death. And number one, nobody is,
yeah.
So like a lot of times I just have to extend grace to them, go, they don't know what they're saying. They really don't understand. Their heart's in the right place. They just don't know how to express what they're feeling. And so I just have to go, it's okay. It's okay. So that was a long answer, but
But also beautiful. I love even that you said in the end and in grace to others.
unfortunately, and it saddens me because there's a lot of people that you thought would be there and they
Yeah.
weren't. Family, friends who you thought they would be there and they weren't. And then there were people that came into my life that wasn't even expecting, and they were such a blessing, and they didn't even know me, but they extended so much grace to me and so much support and just go, I'm here. I don't know you. And I'm like, wow. So life was full of surprises.
Right? Yeah. I really appreciate you sharing like everything today because no doubt still raw with all of it. And thank you for sharing that because someone can relate to
Yeah.
how that feels and being able to talk about things that are not easy to talk about. So I really, really appreciate that.
So we are, eh, you know, it's funny because my plans, it's funny because when the foundation started, it was all about Evan's book. It was just
Yeah.
a book. Really, it was just, let's just get this book and just sell it and boom. Now it has turned into a foundation literally centered around education. That's what we're doing. I mean, the books, Evan's book, the curriculum, the K through 12 curriculum, the university, all of it, it's all about education.
Yeah.
And that's not what I planned
Right.
at all. I had none of this. So I feel like sometimes I'm just kind of hanging on and God's going, look, I got you. And what I have for you is better than anything that you could plan. So just have faith in me and just keep doing what you're doing. And I'm going to take care of the rest. And so I think sometimes I'm like, okay, God, well, whatever door's supposed to open is going to open. And whatever opportunities are supposed to come in, he's going to bring them in. And it really has been that way over the past couple years. It's just been effortless growth. And it's going where it's supposed to go because this is not where I had it planned to go. I'm like, I got all these visions of the way it's going to go. And God was like, no, no, this is where it's going to go. I'm like, okay. So
That's
no,
awesome.
I can honestly say I have this vision, but I can honestly say I don't know
Right.
what's
Oh my gosh, that was so gorgeous. I can't tell you. My heart is so full.
yeah.
So
I
full.
do know one thing I'm going to share that, well, it's that
Yeah.
I'm working on myself is that I've been working on my book on grief for a while. I started a book on grief it's been years ago. I worked with a mentor. He's written, I don't even know, 20 or 30 books. He's written so many books. One of his books are turning into a movie now. He's amazing. And I started writing the book, and then there was some things I just couldn't write about. I wasn't ready.
Sure.
So I put it down for a while. It's so close to being finished though, but I think now I'm like, okay, you know what? I think it's turned into a different book. So now that I'm going to have to go back and rewrite because now I'm so much further in my grief journey. And I think his mentor told him this, but I learned this from him in the book he said, be a voice, not an echo. You be the voice. Don't be an echo about, find your voice, not about what everybody else is experiencing grief. What about everybody else says about what grief is about? What is your experience? And so I'm in the process of that, but now and then I have another book that I'm starting. It's all about really about raising a child with a disability, about the whole family dynamic and caring for self while you're caring for others. So those are my two books that I have, working on because I
Yeah.
love, it's funny because what's funny is that I'm such an introvert. Well, I was an introvert. I think I'm a middlevert now.
Yeah. Oh, I have not heard that term before. I like that. I'm
I
gonna
think that's
steal
not,
that.
I don't think that's a proper word. There's another word for middlevert, but I just call myself a middlevert.
I
Uh,
like it. I'm
I
taking it.
stepped on stage last year and I had a couple of opportunities to really talk about resilience and determination and about Evan and about his story
Yeah.
and about our life and just kind of all the things we went through. And man, it lit me up.
Mm,
I came off stage going, oh, that's like I could
yeah.
do that every day. Like literally, I could do that every day. And because I could just, we can talk about our children. It's just effortless. Um, but so I'm hoping to get these books done so that I can do more speaking up. I have more opportunities to speak and really shine a light on the foundation too at the same time. So it's kind
Right.
of twofold, but that's some stuff that I'm working on too, personally for me.
I love it. That is so exciting. Thank you for sharing that. One of my favorite things about this and, like, what's next and what we're watching for is that when we come back and you're talking about and sharing about your books and speaking, I love it. And I like when you talked about that too, not that the rest of this, not that the stuff with Evans Foundation and the education doesn't lit you up, but there was a different look about you speaking on stage and the resilience of the story of you. That's a, you know,
Yeah,
um,
it's
yeah.
been a journey to find my identity. Again, it really has since he's passed. It's been, man, it's been a 7 year journey. And I think I think probably I'm ready, but I'm finally stepping into really finding out like who is Melisa since the age of 16.
Yeah.
I've been somebody else for someone else my whole life. And now I have this opportunity really to go, okay, who are you? Like have the space, I guess now to be able to kind of step into who am I and what do I want and who do I want to be. So it's exciting. It's an exciting space to be right now.
It is. Mic drop moment for every woman listening to
Right.
this. That part.
Right.
That part.
Exactly. Exactly. We lose ourselves in everyone else because we do. I mean, our hearts, I think our hearts are a heart of service and we do want to serve. And I don't regret any of the service that I gave to my family or to others. I don't regret any of it. It has created who I am in so many ways. But in other ways, I lost myself along the way too. Like and I didn't have the awareness back then for that. I've learned
Right.
that, I've learned that.
Right. Right. And plus the energy to do that. So great. Oh my gosh. I
Good
can't wait till
point.
we
The
chat
energy.
again. Yeah. Even when the awareness is there sometimes, like you talk about survival, the survival mode at different stages with different pieces of that for sure. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for being here.
This is a great platform.
You and I will talk soon.
All right. Thank you. All
Much
right.
love.
Thank you.